That was that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. I think there's only real one takeaway from that main event between Gamrot and Salkilld, and the takeaway is Salkilld is absolutely legit. I mean, doing what he was able to do to Gamrot in as short of a fashion as he was able to do it in is pretty crazy. I think a lot of people had concerns going into this fight about Salkilld, about his ability to defensively wrestle, to scramble against a guy like Gamrot, who's known for his wrestling ability and his insanely high level scrambling ability. But Gamrot passed all the tests. He not only won in his way, which would be finding a knockout on the feet, he actually won in Gamrot's way. He out-scrambled the scrambler. So if you guys didn't watch the fight itself, I definitely would recommend rewatching it. It was basically a one-sided domination by Salkilld. He looked minus a million tonight, to be honest. It was not remotely close at any point in this fight. And just very impressive. So early on the feet, Salkilld kind of set everything up by hurting Mateusz Gamrot on the feet. And that's kind of the concern that I had going into this fight, where I thought if Gamrot's able to get the fight to the ground and if he's able to get on top and get into that scramble game, he would have a lot of success and he would be able to out-scramble Salkilld. But on the feet, that would be the danger zone for Gamrot. On the feet, his chin's not very good. He's not an effective striker. That's kind of what I expected. The longer the fight stays on the feet, the better it'll get for Salkilld. And Salkilld did hurt Gamrot pretty early on the feet. Then after that, Gamrot shot in for a takedown after he was hurt, didn't get it. Salkilld actually reversed it and found his own takedown against Gamrot. And from there, they just scrambled. And this is kind of another area where I thought, if we get here, it might be a bit dangerous for Salkilld. Not that he was going to get finished or not that he was going to get submitted, but it would be very tiring and it would be very difficult to out-scramble the scrambler, basically. But Salkilld did it. He did a great job at scrambling effectively. There's one point in the fight where it seemed like Gamrot may have had a heel hook. It wasn't really in at all, to be honest, but it seemed like maybe there was something to think about. If you're Salkilld, you have to focus on it a little bit, but he stayed very calm in that moment. Very calm in that moment, I should say, got out of it and continued fighting, continued scrambling, and eventually he got the back of Gamrot and found a rear naked choke. That was on the chin, it seemed like, but it was good enough to find that, good enough squeeze, I should say, to find that submission. And honestly, this performance was very similar, probably even better than the Charles Oliveira performance against Gamrot, where Charles was able to just bully Gamrot basically on the feet, landing some good shots, find a takedown, out-scramble, and find the rear naked choke. That was also on the chin, actually. So this was similar from that perspective, but at least in the Charles fight, Gamrot landed some good shots. He's not a good striker. He's not an effective striker. He has basically no power. So he wasn't able to hurt Charles, but at the very least, he was able to land some shots. In this fight, it was an airball performance from Gamrot. Salkilld shut this guy out in all areas of the game, on the feet, on the ground, and of course, in terms of the jiu-jitsu in the end of it. So really, really high-level performance from Quillan Salkilld. Quillan Salkilld. That was good comments that I say his name wrong. I can't pronounce it. I'm dumb. I don't know what to say, but I'm trying. Quillan Salkilld. Hopefully that's how you say it. But anyways, a great performance. And as I said before, the main takeaway is this guy is absolutely legit. I mean, to do that to a guy like Gamrot, who is maybe they're not the best finisher in the world, maybe not the most well-rounded fighter in the world, but in terms of his wrestling, like that's his game. He's elite. He obviously was able to beat Armanchukian by utilizing that wrestling. Beat Armanchukian. I thought he lost. But either way, he was very close, and he was able to have a lot of success with his wrestling against other guys. So for Salkilld to not only beat Gamrot by, maybe finishing him on the feet, but to actually out-scramble him and submit him on the ground, very, very impressive. And I think at this point, all the questions that I had about Salkilld going into this fight, absolutely he answered. And I think he's legit at this point. He has a lot of the things that I like when talking about fighters that maybe could become a champion one day. As I said, he's really big for 155. He has a lot of power. He's very well-rounded, good striker, good offensive wrestler. In this fight, he proved a good ability to also scramble on the ground, find submissions. Like, this guy's real good. Like, really, really good. And I'd be very interested to see who he would fight next, because I do think it should be a guy in the top 5 or in the top 6. He just beat Gamrot, who's the number 6 guy in the world, depending on which rankings you use, the meta rankings or the media rankings. I don't know what they go by anymore. I don't know. But in one of the ranking systems, Gamrot was number 6 in the world. So this is a huge win for Salkilld. And obviously, as I said, he's going to be number 6 in the world tomorrow, or on Tuesday, I guess I should say, or maybe around number 6, depending on what rankings they use. I don't know. It's kind of a crapshoot, but either way, it doesn't matter. He's going to be way higher in the rankings after a win like that. And I would like to see him get a legit top 5 guy. And I guess a question that some of you may be wondering is, who should that guy be? I think there's a couple options for Salkilld after a performance like that. I think maybe you can do Salkilld versus Patty, which would be a really interesting fight. I don't know if they do that, but that's an option. Or the option that I like the most is Max Holloway versus Salkilld. I think all of a sudden, a lot of the guys at the top 5 of lightweight are taken. We already have Charles Oliveira. Well, Charles Oliveira is going to be out for a little bit, but we already have Armanchukian fighting. It seems like, I don't really have any official reports. I haven't heard anything, but it seems like a fight between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett makes a lot of sense. And really the odd man out would be Max Holloway. And obviously, you wouldn't do Charles versus Max in the future. We already saw that. So the odd man out is Max Holloway. And I think a fight between Salkilld and Holloway actually makes a lot of sense at this point. And I think Salkilld could win that fight, utilizing his offensive wrestling against Max, especially seeing how easy it was for Charles Oliveira to just pick him up and take him down. I think Salkilld maybe could do a similar thing. He's also huge for the weight class. And even on the feet, this guy has got a lot of power. One shot could absolutely put Max out. His chin's not the same anymore. So I think that's the fight I would like to see the most next. But as I said, it's just a really, really good performance. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. A star in the making, possibly, with Salkilld. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. I know Gamrot is not seen as a guy that's that good. He doesn't have much finishing ability. He's not much of a striker. His chin's not very good. But still, the way that Salkilld was able to win this fight is more impressive to me than him actually even winning the fight. If he just knocked Gamrot out on the feet with a high kick or right hand or whatever, it would be impressive, obviously. Definitely a step up in competition that he passed, but I don't think I would be as impressed as I am here after what he was able to do. So great performance by Salkilld. I'll try to get his name down on how to say it. Quillan? I don't know. But anyways, great performance by him. By the way, I know my shirt's wrinkled. I know my hair is wet. I took a shower. I'm not sweating. But but either way, great performance. I'd be interested to see who the UFC gives him next. But anyways, fellas, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Who should they give Salkilld next? What'd you think of his performance? But until the next time, I'll see you boys in the next one. Peace out, fellas.